When asked if he believed in God, Albert Einstein said he believed in Spinoza's God. What's that all about? Hey guys, it's John here in the studio, and I am loving this morning. It's a beautiful day. I have the day to I have no sessions today, and I'm just making videos for you guys, and I just enjoy making videos. It's fun. You know, some say God is the universe, vast and different and unknowable. Others say God is love, like myself. God is love, personal, present, powerfully aware. So, what did Spinoza really mean by God? And why did Einstein get into that belief? And how does that compare to the God I speak of here on this channel, the one who lives within you? In this video, I'm going to talk about where Spinoza and I are in alignment and where we lovingly diverge. So let's just dive in first. Who was Spinoza and what did he actually believe? Baruch Spinoza was a 17th century Dutch philosopher. He was excommunicated for his radical views on this in general. His biggest key idea was that God is nature and that they are the same. God is not personal, emotional, and doesn't intervene. He believed that everything unfolds through natural law, no miracles, no will, no judgment. And the core of my teachings are that God is love, not a man in the sky, but the conscious creative force behind and within all things. God is personal, yet not a person, felt in the heart, known through presence. And you are not separate from God. You are an extension of divine love. Free will is real, is something I believe, and your power lies in choosing the love in action. So let's compare these two ideas, these two concepts, to one another. Spinoza versus John of New, the grudge match. In Spinoza's view, nature of God is that God equals nature. It's impersonal. I believe God is love, present and alive within all. Spinoza believed that there is no personal relationship between you and God. It's a direct experiential connection that's possible. You can connect with nature, basically. Spinoza believed that prayer had no purpose and that God doesn't respond. I believe that your thoughts are your prayers, and they align you. When you align them with love and intention, you have an outcome that is very natural, and it's coming to you because our nature is to be creators. Spinoza said there is no free will; everything is determined, and I believe there is free will. That choices create your world, as all of the spiritual texts say. Spinoza believed that miracles are only misunderstood natural law. And I believe that the present moment is where we live and create, and the outcomes in nature come from our belief. And when we come into spiritual alignment with our beliefs, we can become very conscious of the fact that we're creating. According to Spinoza, sin or judgment doesn't exist. It's just cause and effect. I also believe sin and judgment aren't exist. They're only love and fear choices. We have the ability to choose between the two aspects. Is it loving or is it fearful? Spinoza believed that the spiritual path was understanding through reason. And I believe that living as love in the present moment is the spiritual path. So where do we deeply align? Immanence. God's not up there, out there. God's in all things, not separate from creation, as is nature. We both reject dogma, both reject the religious authority, the rituals, the fear-based theologies. We both agree there is no hell, no sin, no judgment. We agree that these things are man-made ideas, not divine truths. We both believe the truth is found within. Both of us invite inner awakening, not external obedience. Here's where we actually part ways, though. Love is a conscious force. Spinoza, God doesn't love. No feelings, no care. I say God is love, the most active force in existence, the core element of our true being. Spinoza says there is no personal connection between you and God. It's just is. And I believe there's a deep communion with God, and it's being here in the physical is to awaken that and strip away all the things that obscure the view of our communion with God, our oneness with God. Communion meaning oneness. And it can be found in stripping away the thoughts and get back to that silence. That quote, "Be still and know that I am God." Getting your mind calm and relaxed and not worried about the next moment, being firmly present. Spinoza said, empowerment, you are part of a deterministic universe. Everything's determined around you. So you really have no power in the concept of Spinoza. I believe we are co-creators, empowered by this divine spark within, as Hinduism says. We are the Sit Sat Ki, the individual sparks of consciousness within the one God. And so, to me, this concept of being a subject to nature as opposed to nature being a subject to me. This is a vast difference between our thinkings. And now, a quick word from our sponsor. Coffee Time with John. This channel runs off coffee, so get your coffee and tea at johnsjoe.com. So, in Spinoza's concepts of prayer, if you pray for a miracle and it happens, Spinoza says it's coincidence or causality that we don't understand. I say that you've come to true present moment belief, and you've aligned it with the belief that you're receiving, and that comes from the essence of divine love. God, the Bible says, "Whatever you ask in God's name is granted." Right? Well, that's a loving thing to do. If God says, I'm gonna give you what you believe," negative people will say a negative world because they believe the world's negative. That faith is given. So when you align your belief and believe it fully, whatever you ask in God's name is granted if you have faith. That faith is simply your belief. And so, to me, that's where we part company. He says that all those things that are happening, we have no part in. And I say we have all the part in it. We just don't understand what we're actually believing. Between us, there is one God and two lenses. Spinoza gave us a rational, unified view of God as nature, a big step forward from an angry sky god. Right? He literally is saying it's something more than we can comprehend. But he does so without love. His God is cold and detached and unreachable. I say God is within you, and not just a force, but a loving, living presence. So let's move beyond theory into experience. Choose love, choose alignment, and choose now. You'll fall, and then take that reaction that the universe, that nature gives you, and say, is that aligning? And if it's not, then examine your beliefs about it. So Spinoza and I part company in very specific ways, but we also have an alignment because his concept of these things are just happening, we can't explain it, is a scientific blind faith. And the scientific blind faith is we can't explain it, so we just won't have to try. And the reality of it is when you flip the switch and you go to the side where you realize that you are the creator, you can ask mountains to move and it'll move. Nothing's impossible for you. And whatever I ask in God's name being I am, is what's being created. And when I pray, believing I shall receive, I will receive. These concepts, that's the Christian concepts. Hinduism talks about, your thoughts forming your destiny, and Buddhism talks about your thoughts creating your world. And, it's out there. As a man thinketh, so is he. So am I right? Is he wrong? Who knows? Spirituality is a personal journey. And if you want to believe in that God, then that's your choice. You have the ability. No one should be able to tell you what you should or shouldn't believe or what your truth has to be. I only speak my truth on my channels, and this truth is a very specific truth. I can find beauty in Spinoza's God, but I can also find love that he can't see. And I will tell you that I think following the God of love as opposed to the God of Spinoza will lead to a better life, in my opinion. And that's my thought on this. You guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. See ya. Bye.